Welcome to our video on how to get buy-in fast. Buy-in is one of the most critical things that you can possibly have as a Chief Compliance Officer. I know, because in my past, I've been a Chief Compliance Officer. I'm Christy Grant-Hart, and I am the CEO of Spark Compliance Consulting, former FCPA attorney in the defense world, as well as a director of compliance for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa at a travel company, and the Chief Compliance Officer at United International Pictures, the joint venture of Paramount and Universal in 65 countries. Spark Compliance started in London, and we've expanded to Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. And what I know from working with my clients over the years is that buy-in is the most important thing that they can have. Compliance officers might have the most beautiful technical program in the world, but if no one has bought into the program from a senior level, it's almost impossible to get the resources they need and the respect that they deserve. Think about the word buy-in. It already implies that there is something that is being given. Whether it's monetary, whether it's budget, whether it's time, whether it's doing favors, or whether it's emotional resources like support, buying in is an activity that is an action. So we need to get that buy-in in order to be more effective. Now, without buy-in, we have friction. Friction is the difficulty, the stopping of something happening, or making it harder to get from where you are to where you want to go. Without buy-in, people are more likely to raise objections and stand in your way. And the politics of the organization can work against you. Perhaps more importantly, without buy-in, your priorities aren't other people's priorities. When you have their buy-in, they're more likely to prioritize what it is you want and what you really need from them. This is a critical area of concern. Let's talk about some solutions to help you get the buy-in you need. The first one is simply to have clarity about your vision. Clarity may be the most important part of being a CCO, and it is completely underrated how important that is. If you don't know where you want your program to go and can't clearly articulate that, it's almost impossible to get someone else to buy into it. What we need is a clear vision of where we're going. Think about where you want to be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and 5 years. What does your program look like? What are the resources required? What are the benefits to the company? How can you talk about your vision in a way that makes it clear to the other person? If they can see the vision more clearly, they're much more likely to buy into it. And speaking of vision, how you talk about your vision is incredibly important. So one way to get buy-in is to simply be actively enthusiastic. Now, why does this work? Well, enthusiasm and energy are contagious. When we're around happy, excited people, we tend to be lifted up. When we're around negative people, when we're around people who are really down and talk about how down they are, we tend to become down too. If you are excited about your vision or initiative, others are so much more likely to be as well. And look, even if they're not excited themselves, they are much more willing to be curious, wonder why the heck you care so much about this, and therefore be willing to listen to your vision and hear it out, perhaps converting them in the process. Be enthusiastic about what it is you're creating, because that energy will rub off on others and get buy-in for you. One of the most important things that you can do is to get verbal or written alignment on your vision. So what you want to do before you start running out and getting things done is to present your plan with specific requests for agreement from the group or individual approver. This can be the full board of directors, the audit and risk committee, your senior leadership, your compliance committee, your compliance council, whichever group it is that is going to be responsible for not only approving, but also helping you to execute your vision. You want to show your 3-year plan and ask for feedback. If the individual or the group does not like your vision, you want to know that right now so you can pivot. You want to create a vision they agree with, because then they feel like they're helping you to get where you want to go because they are part of it. You really want to make sure that they agree to the vision, and that if they don't, you can change it. Because if you spend the next 3 years performing something you think is great, if somebody has an unvoiced objection or that's not what they would have chosen, you want to know that right now before you start. So get that vision before people and allow them to say yes to it so they're bought into it. So you've got this clarity. You know where you want to go. You know what the solution is. You know how this program can come out positively for you and the company. You know that this training can move the organization from one place to the next. What you want to do is paint that picture of reducing or erasing the pain point with a description of where you're going. Compliance officers and people in general tend to focus too much on facts and words instead of using stories. People remember stories far more than they remember facts alone or words. Stories essentially get into people's bodies. When you're hearing a story, the part of your brain that gets engaged is painting pictures in your own mind. If I say that a blue elephant walked across a 6-lane freeway, your mind will conjure up an image of a blue elephant and a 6-lane freeway. That's how we work. We follow the images being verbally presented to us. If I'm in a meeting and I say that a blue elephant walked across a 6-lane freeway, you're probably going to be curious about how and why the elephant walked across the 6-lane freeway. Stories can create intrigue and interest. I worked in the film and television industry for many, many years. The reason that film and television are so popular is because stories are cathartic. They're interesting. They challenge us. How do you use storytelling to get buy-in? Well, studies tell us that the more you talk about people similar to those in your audience, the more likely they are to feel those stories in their bodies. You want to tell stories about people similar in age, similar in gender, seniority, and industry. When you're asking for buy-in, what you want to do is tell people stories about things that have either gone wrong for them or people similar to them, or for industry participants similar to yours. On the opposite side of the coin, you want to tell stories about how great the company can be, how respected it can be, or how it can win. You really want to work with the motivations of the people around you in order to get that buy-in. Tell your stories, paint the pictures. Another technique is to tell them what's in it for them. Human beings really want to know what's in it for us. And that doesn't mean we're bad people. It's not that we're totally selfish people. It's just that, frankly, we're really busy and we need to know what's in it for us. Why should I spend my time on you, or my social capital, or my budget buying into your vision if there's not a benefit for me? Everyone likes to look good, right? Describe the personal benefits to the individuals you need buy-in from. If they follow your vision or buy into your vision, how can it help them? Maybe it will show them to be a great leader. Maybe it will make them appear to be ethical or get them a better engagement score. Maybe they will get promoted because they are in the intranet or in a blog that the CEO is paying attention to. Use whatever it is that will make them feel more valuable or make them feel important. You want to get at what's important to them so they have a reason to independently buy into your vision. It's all well and good to say compliance and ethics are very important. It's more useful to say, here's why buying into this initiative or helping me out will make you look fantastic. Getting buy-in is one of the most critical things you can do. And by using some of these techniques, you should be able to get it more easily and more effectively. People who have bought into the program are more likely to buy into you as well, which will make you much more successful.